It's just a great story that rallied a region to have just a ton of pride, not only for the town of Marshall, but for the area. And I loved when you're trying to figure out how to tell a story, I loved that there were, kind of 3 out-of-state young coaches, right, that came in, and it was always like that Texas high school football dream that they wanted to come in and learn under a great master coach and be in a great program and learn the profession.
A lot of the book touches on 1988, 89, and 90, those years here in Marshall. Those years started a little bit before that when Coach Parker came to town with his coaching staff, many of whom are in the room today.
And then how do you honor a mentor? You take it to the next level, keep it going for the next town, and then the next town, etc. So I tried to do that as best I could. Obviously, the in-person stories are way much better than anything written on a page. But I was so humbled and honored to take a shot at it. And I really hope that you feel like you were represented correctly in this great story, because I think you own a huge page of the Texas high school history books, and especially for East Texas football.
This is kind of weird because I basically was a water boy here.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys don't know how low on the totem pole I was here. But I did soak up a lot of knowledge. I learned a lot of football from Coach Parker and Coach Harper and Coach Thrower. And 10, 15, 20 years later, I would tell other coaches, young coaches, there is such an element of luck when you start your coaching career. Do you happen to start in a field house where they know how to do it right? Because there's only about 10% of them that know how to do it right. So I was just lucky to be, in the right place at the right time and learn from these guys.
As I was driving up here today, I came here from Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and I worked for a guy by the name of George Short. Part of my story is I'm sitting in a field house in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and his favorite, Bub, that was his, he'd go, "Hey, Bub, what do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Well, I think this is something you want to do for a living. I know where you need to go. You need to go to Marshall, Texas." Of course, I'd never been in Texas, knew no one in Texas, had no family, and I'm looking at him like, "You're going to start at the bottom." I was the assistant to the water boy. We said, "Look, you're going to start at the bottom, and you need to." And of course, I had the kind of respect for George to go, "Okay, yes, sir." He said, "And you're going to learn how to coach." From this, that's what I really realized. I told you, I said, now I know why I'm doing this.
Is I'm the one that's had the good fortune of coaching the McCown brothers. Brandon McCown wins the game against Texas the year the bonfire collapsed. Josh McCown's been on every NFL team there is, and their daddy and I are best friends. My stay here is very similar to Jeff Traylor's, which is the focal point of the book. His stay with us, me, Mountain Wayne, and Jacksonville, is my story of here, because this is where I learned how to be a head football coach. It all started right here. And Dennis can speak to the beginning stages, but what he taught us and how we interacted and how we took the message.
That book will tell you about Marshall, Texas. Everything you ever need to know. 1987, we won 8 football games. Marshall, Texas ain't won 8 football games since Wade Tilley. Y'all don't even know who Wade Tilley is. That's who y'all know. The one thing that defined Marshall more than anything, true story, we had an assistant superintendent that was in charge of us. Pat Smith was the greatest superintendent, but she wasn't in charge of us the first couple of years. We had an assistant superintendent, and we didn't do real well the first couple of years. Obviously, everybody knows that. And so he calls Tom Thrower in, and he said, "Coach Thrower, we might have made a mistake hiring Coach Parker. I just want you to know, if he leaves, we'd make you the head coach." Tom said, "No. If he leaves, you'll be looking for 2 coaches. But if he leaves, I'm." So the guy said, okay. So he called Bill Harper. He said, Coach, might have made a mistake with Coach Parker. Just want to let you know if he leaves, you'll be the head coach. He said, no. If he leaves, you're going to be looking for 2 coaches. But I'm leaving with him. And that was it. That was the staff. We got a state champion junior high coach. He's a junior high coach for me, and he went to state championship. Wayne Coleman's a head coach. He's a junior high coach. Danny Long wins 5 district championships. I think we were pretty good. Now tell me how much you think I had to do. No, everybody knows that. You know. When we coached, everybody knew it. They knew Tom Floor called the play. He and Jackie Lloyd argued the whole time. We did have a good time, and we did make a difference in kids' lives. I believe that to this day, because when I have a lot of kids, I have some kids that call me, and they don't ever talk about the football games. Ever. They talk about some story that we told them, something that happened. And that tells you what coaching is. I quit coaching in 1981, quit coaching football and started coaching kids. And that's what we did. God blessed us to be able to do that in a lot of different places, and Marshall was one of them.